Susie and Jeff. Yeah, Jeff and Susie just now getting over this one on the southbound 101, headed towards downtown LA right now. Just getting in position here. Bear with us here as we get in position. This was reported as a car with no plates and then reckless driving, and now officially a failure to yield. And look at this. It looks like a pretty high-end car here. It looks like a Porsche Carrera, a convertible here, a Roadster looks like. And it looks like just this single occupant here. We've got the luxury we can see inside here. It doesn't have the top up right now. And pretty sure this is the vehicle being pursued. I mean, yeah, he's right behind CHP. We actually hadn't gotten a vehicle description yet from CHP at this point, but we just intercepted it. It was first reported, like I said, with no plates on it. Yeah, this is definitely the car right here. This is this black Porsche Carrera, obviously a very capable vehicle, and it's some pretty heavy traffic right now. Southbound on the 101 as we head towards downtown LA. This is California Highway Patrol, primary agency on this. They do have a chopper overhead from Glendale's police agency right now, but I believe they're talking about getting their own helicopter in position here shortly once they can, and then they can relieve the Glendale chopper and let him go back home, guys. Yes, yeah, and you know, I couldn't see. I thought there is actually somebody in the passenger seat there, Jeff. At first, when we first got overhead, I couldn't see anybody. Maybe they were kind of ducking down into the footwell, but now I see, yeah, somebody else here. So both seats occupied, and somebody with a white hat there, I could tell you. But out here being chased by California Highway Patrol, refusing to yield. Pretty nice car, a high-end Porsche. We first heard about this 101 at Highland, and then we picked it up 101 right around the Virgil, right around Virgil Street. So getting through the Silver Lake area. Now he's got through that part of the always congested southbound 101, getting through the 4-level interchange as he now gets looser traffic. So he's going to have traffic on his side, and we'll see if he's going to, you know, really use the full capabilities of this car. Of course, we know just how quick Porsches can be. Of course, these new CHP units are also pretty quick, especially in a straight line. But I can see this guy. It looks like he's
starting to open it up a little bit.
Maybe at the air traffic around him. Yeah, they're all kind of, look at this. Speeds are really picking up now. Definitely getting dangerous. He just got past the 110 freeway, so now going through the heart of downtown LA, and he will be coming up on the Eastdale interchange in no time flat if he continues at these now increasing speeds.
Okay, now this is a Porsche convertible. We have CHP right behind it. Looks like 2 or 3 units as he's starting to kind of hit the traffic again. It's starting to thicken up. This is on the 101, not too far from downtown. This is a convertible, and from that vantage point here at Sky 9 with Desmond Shaw inside, you can see 2 people, of course, one being the driver and a passenger as well. And at one point in time, Susan, when we first saw this pursuit, they were going a relatively slow speed, which this is a Porsche. Obviously, what Desmond says, it's very capable of going higher speeds, but we've yet to see those fast speeds.
Yeah, that's right. And as you mentioned, Jeff, the traffic is getting a little thicker out here. You can see the CHP units also slowing down right behind him. Again, this started, we picked it up in the Hollywood area, southbound on the 101 freeway right now. In the downtown LA area. This car originally wanted for no plates and then wanted for reckless driving and then failure to yield. So definitely racking up those charges. But it's unclear tonight why they are running from police. Are they armed? Are they, you know, who knows what they have inside the car? We have no idea, but we do know at this point that there are 2 people, as you mentioned, Jeff, inside this car, and they are running from the CHP officer.
Yeah, you know, this is the second chase this week with more than the driver. We had a chase earlier this week where there was a passenger wanted for murder and, of course, a driver as well. This appears to just wanted for reckless driving, no plates on this Porsche. This is, again, CHP pursuit in the 101, downtown LA, happening just a few minutes ago as we cover this live. Let's go back up to Sky 9 and Desmond Shaw with the very latest. Des?
Yeah, Jeff, very strange indeed. I mean, this did just begin as, you know, hey, why don't you have, you know, a license plate here? That's just a fix-it ticket. So to take off over something like that, obviously makes you think that there's, you know, something else afoot here with this person, if this is someone who has a record or whatever. We don't want to speculate too much. But we are now, let me zoom out here to make sure, believe we're going to be, yeah, we're eastbound on the 10 now. So we just took the eastbound 10 away from the 101 here from before the East LA interchange. And actually, as I look up ahead, it looks like he's going to get some of that lucky pursuit traffic that, that so often happens with these pursuits. Of course, we're at a lighter traffic time now at this point, you know, on a Friday night. Of course, the 101 where he just was is always an exception on a Friday. That freeway pretty much always congested. But now we're eastbound on the 10, a freeway that's definitely light on a Friday evening now that we're well past rush hour and people are commencing with their weekend plans. So we will see, you know, earlier he did not hesitate to really slam on the gas pedal. We'll see if that's what he continues to do here. We're having to kind of change position, so bear with us. We'll try to get in a better position here shortly, but we are eastbound on the 10, just coming away from the 101. He'll be crossing underneath the 5 freeway here momentarily.
And Desmond, you had mentioned that CHP officers on the ground there and Glendale Police Department overhead. Is that still the case?
Let me confirm. Brennan is there. Yes, Brennan's nodding his head. Pilot Brennan with me tonight, and it looks like LAPD's chopper is actually getting ready to join in on this. So they're going to have, at least for a moment, they're going to have 2 helicopters on this one.
You know, it's really odd to see a convertible like this, and you can see the occupants of the vehicle. And I don't know if we're able to bring up that other video that we saw earlier, but initially when we saw this chase, it was the passenger with a white hat, white baseball cap, that was for some reason leaning underneath the seat, and you don't know why that is, and you always wonder if they're trying to get a weapon or whatever the case may be. And I don't know what the case is, but it is odd behavior. And of course, when it comes to any sort of police chase, these drivers are very you know, desperate in these situations. They do act erratically and they act in very odd fashion, which that was right there. But it led me to believe that might be hiding something, or maybe, I don't know, wanting to pull something out, or maybe trying to throw something away. Maybe that's the reason why, because this was just initially just pulling them over for no plates, which, as Desmond mentioned, would just be a ticket on the side of the road and then you go. But now this is going to lead to a night in jail. Yeah,
reckless driving and failure to yield, obviously, in addition to the car with no license plates. This is a black Porsche. And as far as we know, there are 2 people inside this car, including the driver. Glendale Police Department overhead, and the LAPD possibly also going to be overhead shortly. We have CHP units on the ground, and Desmond Shaw is overhead in Sky 9. Desmond, does it still look like just a few of CHP ground units chasing this guy?
Yeah, as I zoom out here, it looks like you just have a pair of units right now. I did hear them talking, actually 3. Thank you, Brennan, telling me there's 3 units on him right now. I have been listening to CHP communicate with the various agencies in their various jurisdictions, and, you know, handing off and having different units stand by in certain areas. I know there was a unit that was standing by around the 5 and the 710. Of course, if he continues on the eastbound, he's coming up on the 710 right now, but looks like he's kind of committed to the eastbound 10 at this point. And, you know, just thinking of what they're going to do about this might be, you know, kind of difficult to pit maneuver a car like this. You're talking about a powerful, a powerful rear-wheel drive sports car, not to mention that it's a convertible as well. So there may be some liability concerns on this. You know, it's not very often that we see really high-end sports cars in pursuit. A lot of the time it's later model vehicles, more kind of normal cars. Now coming to a complete stop. Can we get around this, Brent? Wait, here we go. He was underneath one of the flyover interchanges there. We're just past State Street, eastbound on the 10 right now. Came to a stop. Let me look up ahead, see what is holding him up. And you see there a couple of other units, like I said, who are getting in place to get ready to join this pursuit. So CHP definitely in communication with a lot of their other divisions right now, alerting them to this guy. And it looks like they're going to have a couple more units now join in on this pursuit.
You know, I wonder with the convertible down on this Porsche, if there's any way you can kind of see the hand movements and gestures from the driver and the passenger. I wonder if you can zoom in just a little bit, Desmond, and see what we can find out. Obviously, it's dark out there, but this is not one of those high-speed chases, at least not yet. It was pretty slow speed at one point in time, and it's pretty dark. You really can't see much. It is a darker Porsche, as you can see. It looks like the passenger who once had a white ball cap may have, I don't know, let go of that or something, because I don't see anything behind that windshield there. But nonetheless, we have a pursuit going on right now. CHP, several units there now. Looks like 2 more were joining, so maybe 4. And of course, you got the airship overhead as well as we continue to follow this pursuit of a Porsche convertible. The driver wanted for reckless driving and no plates.
Yeah, Jeff, we always wonder on the pursuits on the freeways, you know, what what CHP officers are going to do about it. I mean, they can chase for so long, obviously, because they have different jurisdictions and they'll step in when they can. But, you know, how long can this chase go on for? Will this driver run out of gas first? You know, it's obviously Desmond was saying, you know, on the freeway, it's difficult to attempt a pit maneuver because there are dangerous conditions, obviously, for the other drivers and at this person going this fast. I mean, it's definitely not going to happen. You know, Desmond was also talking about how officers were joining in kind of in front of the pursuit, so they join him that way. And there's also that technique of boxing in, but that's, of course, to stop a violator vehicle by surrounding it with patrol vehicles. But I don't know if that's going to happen either.
Looks like they're kind of on the emergency lane there on the left-hand side, the way left-hand side. This is going to be in Monterey Park, the eastbound 10. This is one point in time on Hollywood 101 and eastbound 10 now. So, Desmond, can you track the speed? I mean, it seems that we've built up speed a little bit here, but it doesn't appear to be that high of a speed. But it's probably got to be the speed limit, right?
Well, actually, Jeff, at one point there, I just heard CHP calling out 90 miles an hour.
Okay.
Now he's slowed down a little bit to about 80 at this point. That bright light you see over him, that is going to be the Glendale Police Department's chopper overhead, and they have the spotlight on him. So let's zoom in and see if we can see anything. You know, I've been watching this passenger here, and she's, I'm not sure if it's a male or female, but it definitely kind of fidgeting around, reaching around a lot. You know, at first we couldn't even see that person because it looked like they were ducking into the footwell, but we've been seeing, it looks like kind of a lot of nervous movement. So, you know, not sure what's going on with that, if they're trying to hide something or reach for something or what exactly the deal is. And again, this just started with paper plates, or, you know, what they call it. It just didn't have the proper license plates on this. And it's just so peculiar to get in a pursuit with CHP. You know, again, makes me think something else is going on here.
For sure. I mean, this is erratic behavior you could see on that passenger. As you know, it was obstructed by the front windshield, Susie. I couldn't see it. It appears that whoever's ever in the front still wearing that white ball cap, but they are fidgety and they continue to move around. I saw them move completely around to look back towards the back, which makes sense because you know, they're in the middle of a police pursuit. But I don't know. It's certainly some very odd behavior. So you know there's got to be something nefarious going on, because if they pulled them over just for plates, and if they would have just pulled over and they got a ticket and be done with it. But obviously they went on the run and there's something else going on here.
Yeah, and Desmond, you were talking about how this was picked up in the Hollywood area, just off of Highland, off the 101 freeway. Was there any reckless driving when you were overhead that you saw before we got on television here?
No, if anything, he was driving slow. Of course, the 101 was fairly congested, so it may have been more a product of that. Didn't see him driving on the shoulder or anything like that when this was first reported. I was kind of remarking on how slowly he was going southbound on the 101 at Highland. By the time that we picked up the chase, he was only down south of about Melrose, so it didn't cover a lot of ground. And, you know, at first we saw him kind of otherwise obeying traffic laws. Of course, now getting speeds up around 80 miles an hour as we're eastbound on the 10. Looks like we're crossing Rosemead Boulevard right now.
You know, it's interesting. It seems like I'd say 50-50 on Fridays we have a police pursuit. I don't know why that is, but it seems like more often than not, a Friday evening, there seems to be a pursuit of some sort. And here it is. 8:31 is the time. This began just within the last 15, 20 minutes or so. This all began the 101 at Virgil in the Silver Lake area. Police attempted to pull over this driver of a Porsche for no plates, and they just took off. Wanted for reckless driving as well. Went on the Hollywood 101, eastbound 10 now, and Glendale PD's chopper is overhead.
This is a black Porsche convertible. The Glendale Police Department has a chopper overhead shining their light on this car, and 3 CHP units were initially chasing this vehicle, and now I believe there are 2 additional units that joined the pursuit around the East LA area. Let's go back up to Desmond Shaw to see what he's found out. Desmond?
Yeah, you know what, guys? I think he's getting off the freeway here. Yeah, this is going to be just east. This is the bus ramp that leads into the El Monte area. I think we're going to be near Santa Anita, or near the Santa Anita exit, I should say. I've actually never taken this exit myself, but let's see where this dumps him out on right now, but he is going to be, yeah, this is definitely the bus ramp that leads kind of to the big El Monte bus terminal right here. So, you know, this isn't even something that he was supposed to be taking himself. Of course, you know, this guy's been violating plenty of other laws and then blowing through the stop sign right now. And let's see where this takes us now that we're on surface streets now, the El Monte bus terminal.
Yeah, no, this is a whole different thing to factor in now. When you get on those side streets, especially at night, a lot more dangerous situations. You have pedestrians, you have bicyclists. You know, when you're on the freeway, then you're obviously, everybody's going in the same direction, and there's no sort of pedestrians or anything like that. And then all of a sudden, you're on these side streets, and you're in residential areas, and the speed limit is supposed to be much slower, and of course it doesn't look like they are doing that. It looks like they're going over the speed limit, going from right to left, blowing through red lights and stop signs.
Wrong
and you got
side of the road.
Wrong side of the road. You got a lot of people out there, and of course it's nighttime too, and it's Friday night, so there might be some people out there riding their bikes or pedestrians, wherever the case may be.
And that's always the fear, obviously, for CHP officers or anyone who is in pursuit of a dangerous driver. We saw this person, you know, for most of this pursuit on the freeway, not driving too fast, not driving too recklessly, just driving on the shoulder of the freeway for the most part.
Yeah, westbound.
But then we just saw right now as they exited the freeway, exited on that bus ramp that led to the El Monte bus terminal. We saw them making some wide turns there and driving on the wrong side of the road, and now back on the freeway. Where are we now, Desmond?
We are westbound on the 10, getting ready to cross Rosemead, so he's doubling back towards downtown LA right now. Very peculiar, because if he was going to try to exploit any advantage he had, obviously it would be the advantage that he has with this sports car and being able to take turns really fast and stuff. And we saw him kind of begin to do that, and then he decided to get back on the freeway. But pretty reckless down there, zigging and zagging all across traffic and blowing through stop signs, getting ready to get back on the freeway. Fortunately, there were no pedestrians or anything out there like that at this point. But this is a Porsche Carrera, very capable car. I imagine Stu Mundell, who's on vacation right now, is really wishing he was overhead this, because I know he's a car guy. He could tell you exactly how many horsepower this car has, but I think it's going to be in the 300 to 400 range of horsepower. I'm sure we'll have probably some of my car friends will text me to correct me on that.
You know, it's interesting you talk about how this might end. Obviously, you got spike strips, they could give up, and we talk about run out of gas, and you know, with the top down, it might actually get cold, because it's going to turn, you know, the temperatures are going to go down, and the top is down, and there's no way for them to put the top up with the speeds the way it is. So I don't know, there's any different way you can imagine the reason why this is happening, but this is all wanted just for no plates, and then they decided to take off. We've seen some pretty strange and erratic behavior from the passenger. There is a driver and a passenger in this convertible Porsche, and what we see is the passenger has really had the strangest mannerisms and gestures, and moving around quite a bit, fidgeting, if you will, reaching up underneath the seat, going around the side, looking back, craning his or her neck all the way around. There's a white cap, at least there was at one point in time, to get the night sun from, we believe that's Glendale Chopper and the PD there. And there you can get a little bit better look as we take a close look here. This is going to be the convertible that continues with this pursuit here in Los Angeles. And,
you know, we're wondering why this person is running from police. As you were mentioning, Jeff, that the initial want was just for a car with no plates. Why are they running from CHP units right now? Are they under the influence? Are they hiding something inside the car? Are they armed? Do they possibly have a stolen car? Right. Is this a stolen car?
Well, it's got to be something. I mean, it would have just been a ticket for no plates. It would have been, you know, pull over, get a ticket, and then that's it, and pay a fine at some point in time. But now, of course, they're looking at going to jail, because this is going to be certainly a felony chase, and it's going to be, we get a little bit better look at the driver there. He's wearing a cap as well. It appears to be a male. I don't know, sometimes you get the light from the street lights and sometimes you can't. There we go. But anyway, this is kind of the best picture we've, that doesn't appear that they're even talking to each other, but you see, well, you see
is someone bopping their head?
That's
is that
the
what
passenger.
It looks like?
The passenger's been doing that all day long.
Uh-huh.
This is the same behavior we've seen from the very beginning.
It makes you kind of wonder if they're listening to music inside the car.
They could be.
And kind of, you know, just dancing with the music. That's what it looks like, because it's just on
like
beat, right? It's in rhythm.
Going with the rhythm of the beat. Yeah, it could be. What do you think, Desmond?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, maybe they have some really good, you know, music. You got the top down on your high performance vehicle on a Friday night, wide open traffic. You know, if you weren't running from CHP, this would be a pretty nice evening.
Yeah.
It looks like a older gentleman in the passenger seat, or rather in the driver's seat. I can tell you that. And indeed, Jeff and Susie, just like clockwork, I did have one of my car enthusiast friends is probably screaming at me because I think I was saying Porsche. Of course, enthusiasts want you to say Porsche, and this car does have right about 300 horsepower, about 296 on this, but a very capable car, as most Porsches are. We're westbound on the 10, headed back towards downtown LA. We are coming through the Alhambra area. I believe we're getting ready to cross Atlantic right now.
Okay, well, CHP in pursuit of this convertible Porsche, and we got up to about 90 miles an hour at one point in time, but initially when we connected with Sky 9 on this pursuit, they were going at pretty slow speed because they were in traffic. This is one point in time on the 101 in Hollywood. It started on the 101 in Virgil and Silver Lake. It got in, then onto the eastbound 10, and then they got into some surface streets and then just did a big U-turn, if you will, and now back westbound on the 10.
Yeah, we know that the suspect actually got off at one point off the eastbound 10 freeway off a bus ramp that leads to the El Monte bus terminal, got off there, made some wide turns on the surface streets, drove on the wrong side of the road, and then got back onto the 10 freeway and back into Monterey Park, where this chase actually was just earlier, just minutes ago. If you're just joining us here on KCAL 9 News at 8, this is breaking news. A pursuit going on right now, the CHP in pursuit of a Porsche convertible in the Monterey Park area on the westbound 10 freeway.
You know, it's really interesting. This is a Friday night. They seem to have more police chases on Fridays, if you will, and certainly here it is. And we've had a couple of chases in the last couple of days. This is the second chase in as many days. I believe it was yesterday we had one with a passenger as well. That was a pickup truck that ended up, that was in the Brentwood area after about an hour and a half. But this has been going on for about 35, 40 minutes. And once again, CHP in pursuit, westbound 10, Monterey Park. This is LA's latest pursuit, just wanted for no plates. We've got a passenger who seems to be kind of dancing to the beat of whatever music they're playing and kind of, you know, gesturing as well. They're again turning around and looking. Of course, this is a police pursuit, so they're looking around back behind the units there. At one point in time, there were 4 units. And then we have what appears to be a middle-aged man with a hat on that's driving this Porsche.
That's right. Let's go back up to Desmond Shaw for some more information. Desmond?
Well, I'm just listening to CHP talking, getting more units in place. They have units kind of posted all over the place, getting ready to intercept, basically just to make sure that they always have a fresh tank of fuel, you know, unlike this guy who is in, you know, a gas-guzzling vehicle, especially as he gets those speeds going at this point. I haven't heard anything about trying to bring this to an end, anything like a pit maneuver or anything. Of course, we don't really ever see pit maneuvers on the freeway. It's very, very rare. In fact, I believe the policy is not to attempt a pit maneuver over 45 miles an hour, and we're well in excess of those speeds. So I don't think that's what we're going to see, but we'll have to see if maybe we hear any chatter from other agencies as far as maybe when he gets off the freeway, they can start thinking about spike strips or something like that. But at this point, I think they're just going to have to kind of go with it and see if he stops of his own volition, which, you know, could really happen at any second. It's so strange. Sometimes we see these pursuits drag on and on and on, and then all of a sudden they slam on the brakes and they decide
is this an
they've
off
had
ramp?
enough and they give up. So we just don't know. This is going to be. Looks like he's going to the southbound 710.
Okay.
Wait. No, actually, this is the bus lanes, I believe.
Oh,
These are those exclusive bus lanes, the Metro Express lanes that go towards downtown LA. I believe they drop you off. They drop you off right around Union Station.
Does it get you back on?
Or you know what? Yeah, actually, you know, I did just see something for the. No,
well,
never
that's
mind.
an exit for
we
sure.
are taking the 710.
Okay.
We are going southbound 710 right now. So now getting onto the Long Beach Freeway. And you can see this other guy ahead of him who has, you know, no idea what's going on, that he's got a, you know, failure to yield suspect. Let's see if he decides to, well, you know, I keep kind of just expecting this guy to slam on the gas pedal because he is in a pretty capable car, but that hasn't been the case. So it's just strange to run from police for what seems like a very minor violation, have a very capable car, and then, you know, not run, or certainly not run as fast as you can,
yeah, well, something's
as
going
he's
on
capable
for sure.
of. And I'm looking up ahead of me. And I think there's actually a crash southbound 710
Oh boy.
right around the 60 freeway. So he's going to run into some traffic. And we'll see what his next move is going to be. Maybe he has KNX 1070 news radio on, and he heard the traffic reports, and he's going to be able to foresee that, but we'll see what he decides to do.
Well, I will say, when I took a look at the view here earlier, Susie, when we got that closer look at, I saw a glow of something. I'll bet you it appeared that the passenger had a cell phone. Maybe they were texting. I mean, it wasn't the driver, thankfully, but it appeared that the passenger at one point in time might have been on his phone, and who knows what they're doing when they're on the phone, but they could be calling somebody or texting someone, or maybe even, checking to see if they're on TV.
Sure, and we talk about capable cars. That's what Desmond was calling this Porsche convertible, but even capable cars, Jeff, will run out of gas, and this is certainly a gas guzzler. And as Desmond was saying, at these speeds, as these high rated speeds, going up to 90 miles per hour, that's what we clocked so far tonight. They are going to run out of gas at some point, and they have been in the, Hollywood area, East LA, Monterey Park, downtown LA area, I should say, and the El Monte area, now back on the southbound 710 freeway on the Long Beach Freeway in East LA.
We should mention, a lot of people may say, how come they don't do the pit maneuver in a situation like this? Well, it's very dangerous at speeds like this. If you were to perform a pit maneuver, this vehicle could very easily go out of control because it's going at such a fast speed,
Sure.
and that could put in danger the lives of the suspects. And of course, it's kind of hard to do something like that at that high rate of speed anyway. So you're probably not going to see anything like a pit maneuver on a highway. You probably won't see spike strips either because, again, we're slowing down. This has got to be for the traffic, Desmond?
Yeah, that is the traffic because of the crash I believe I saw up ahead. It looked like the right lane was blocked with a tow truck or something, so he is slowing down right now. And yeah, you mentioned that, Jeff, the physics of doing a pit maneuver on a car like this, and I'm getting some information again from some of my car enthusiast friends telling me that, yeah, this thing would behave very wildly if they were to try to do a pit maneuver on this. So that's probably not going to be in the cards, at least for now. I would not expect to see a pit maneuver on this.
Especially with all these, people around him, obviously. CHP officers also talk about public safety being their #1 priority, and when there are cars like this and other drivers around this suspect vehicle, they're probably not going to attempt anything that endangers the public. They say in the area of a pursuit, just to go over, some things that CHP officers talk about, if you find yourself in the middle of a pursuit, because you're on the freeway, you have no idea what's going on, you just see CHP units, with their sirens blaring and chasing one vehicle, then you probably think, okay, what's going on? Maybe I'll pull over. They say first thing, remain calm. Do not make any aggressive or sudden lane changes. As soon as it's safe to do so, move as far right as possible. If you're unable to move to the right, stay in your current lane until the pursuit passes. Don't brake abruptly or stop on the freeway traffic lanes, and be aware of your surroundings. And the #1, what they always highlight is do not become involved in the pursuit.
Yeah, don't try to stop.
Yeah, we have seen that as well.
Yeah. It's also interesting, we've had CHP tell us that there's been situations where people didn't necessarily know that they were being pulled over. I can't imagine that would be the case here, because you got a number of police vehicles behind this Porsche. You also have helicopters overhead. Now that it looks like the passenger, it seems to me that he just had a hand gesture. The driver just stuck his arm up in the air and kind of gave I don't know if it was like a muscle man move or kind of wanted, just kind of shook his fist a little bit. For a second there, I thought maybe the passenger, which is dressed in white, was in the back seat. I guess they just reclined that seat back a little bit.
Desmond, what are you seeing now?
Yeah, hey guys, we are now going southbound on the 5. That's kind of one of those weird ramps there with the 710. Some of the ramps are on the left side of the freeway, so he's now southbound on the 5, coming through the Commerce area, southbound on the 5 away from the 710. Yeah, making some weird gestures. I thought maybe earlier might have seen a rather obscene gesture, I think I saw him make, and at other times just kind of pumping his fist in the air. So, I don't know.
Well, it's kind of interesting because I was saying, sometimes CHP says that people don't really realize that they're being chased. In a situation like that, I can't imagine that they wouldn't know that they're being chased. And when he puts his, fist in the air, that's got to tell you that he knows something's going on.
Yeah, definitely. It probably sees the chopper overhead as well. As we understand, the Glendale Police Department has their sky or their chopper overhead above them, and I'm sure that's what they're seeing, along with the CHP units behind them with their sirens on, I'm sure. But we are right now on the 5 southbound in the Commerce area. If you're not familiar with the area, that's where the Citadel outlets are. And we're headed down to what would be Cerritos, Santa Fe Springs, Artesia. And I know, Desmond, you were talking about that traffic that was apparently earlier on the 710 freeway near the 60, but it looks like he got right through that. And I know that on the 5 freeway, there is always some construction going on, and it bottlenecks there, even this time of night.
Yeah, the southbound side of the 5, Caltrans actually rates it as one of, if not the busiest stretches of roadway right now in Southern California, southbound between the East LA interchange and the 605. All the construction taking place south of the 605, where they're eventually going to be adding actually 2 new lanes. That project's been going on for more than a decade. This section of the freeway not under construction, but pretty much perpetually congested. He's still getting by at about 45 miles an hour, I would say right now, but there is kind of some stop-and-go conditions. And as I look ahead, actually, he is going to encounter a bit heavier traffic as he approaches the 605.
Okay, well, once again, let's just bring you up to speed. Desmond Shaw is up in Sky 9. This is a pursuit of a driver and a passenger in a Porsche convertible. This all started on the 101 at Virgil and Silver Lake. Speed's getting up to about 90 miles per hour. And this is proceeded on from Silver Lake to the 101, eastbound 10, exited there, then went through some surface streets back on the 10 going westbound, then to the southbound 710, and now we're southbound on the 5.
Yeah, the driver was initially wanted for a car with no plates. We don't know if this is his vehicle or not, or if it's a stolen vehicle, or maybe borrowing the car. Wanted for reckless driving as well. We did see him driving on the shoulder of the freeway for a lot of the pursuit, and then also when they exited an Almonte area, they made some wide turns and was driving on the wrong side of the road on the surface streets and going back onto the freeway now, and there was failure to yield, obviously. That's another charge that's going to be against them. And there is a passenger in the car. We don't know, what's going on inside that car. We don't know why they're running from the CHP officers tonight. What more than the car with no plates? Is there a crime committed? Are they running from a crime that was committed? Are they under the influence? Are they hiding something in the car? Are they armed? There are so many questions tonight. But this person just keeps going as we continue to follow this pursuit in the Downey area now. As you mentioned, Jeff, they've been on various freeways tonight, from Hollywood, the 101, to the eastbound 10 freeway through East LA, Monterey Park, in the El Monte area, westbound on the 10 in the Rosemead area, southbound in the 710, and now in the Downey area headed towards Cerritos.
Let's talk about the behavior of the driver and the passenger here. We've seen the driver kind of shake his fist. We've also seen him give the single finger salute, if you will. I would assume that that's to the police that chasing him. And also the passenger, who's in a white ball cap. This is very worrisome to the CHP. We've seen that person move around, fidget quite a bit, reach underneath the front seat, reach to the back, kind of almost go all the way towards the back of this vehicle. And this is a convertible, so police can see all of this and see inside that vehicle. And as you might imagine, they're concerned as to what the passenger is doing.
Sure.
We've also seen the passenger kind of also rock back and forth, like maybe they're listening to some music or something like that, but also maybe there might be something troubling to that as well.
Yeah, you're talking about how the CHP might be worried about their gestures and what they're doing inside that car. And Jeff, when they're reaching underneath the seat for something, I think the number one, thing that the CHP officer might be thinking about, or the officers might be thinking about, is, do they have a gun?
Absolutely.
And will they fire at officers if they get too close?
And especially in a convertible. I mean, if you're in a convertible, you have easy access to do something like that. And you've got to wonder, what would be the reason why they would take off if it was just a simple ticket for no plates? That's got to tell you something, that they're doing something wrong, or they got something in the car that's illegal. And so we continue to follow the CHP pursuit, southbound 5 freeway. And this is of a Porsche convertible, 2 people, the driver and a passenger. Let's go back up to Sky 9. And Desmond with the very latest. Desmond?
Well, we are southbound on the 5, Jeff, still approaching the 605, kind of in some medium traffic. Certainly not locked up, as you can see, but not flowing along at, freely either. He's going at about 50 miles an hour. This has kind of been the pace that he's been going at. Haven't seen really any of the erratic driving ever since that kind of little episode that we saw in El Monte, where he was zigging and zagging along some surface streets briefly when he, after getting off the eastbound 10 at the El Monte bus terminal, then went westbound on the 10. And really, since that point, has kind of been just going at this pace, just kind of kind of at a medium pace southbound on the 5. We'll be coming down to the Paramount off-ramp, actually Lakewood Rosemead, shortly, but looks like he's committed to the freeway as he's kind of making a course towards Orange County, driving pretty aimlessly at this point. Sometimes we see suspects stay in one neighborhood, somewhere that they know, maybe somewhere where they know somebody who can take them in and shelter them from the police for a little bit, and other times we see them drive all over the place, cover 100 or even more miles. It kind of looks like that's how this is shaping up at this point. Maybe this guy has a rap sheet. Maybe he is enjoying one last night with the top down. A fantastic night out here to be in a convertible on the freeway in Southern California. So maybe that's his MO right now, just going to run as long as he can, or who knows? I say that, and then this could come to an end in 30 seconds.
Yeah, we're getting some information right now that the CHP commander is asking for a spotlight on the vehicle continuously, and obviously, I don't know if Desmond's providing that or if the Glendale Police Department, their unit, is providing that, but it makes you think. I mean, with the convertible, obviously, Jeff, most of the time these are closed vehicles that we're talking about, and we can't see what is going on in there. We don't know if it's a man or a woman. We don't know who's inside the vehicle, how many occupants are inside, but in this regard, the convertible kind of helps police.
It certainly does.
CHP officers.
And to have that night sun on there, the CHP wants that because these people have been acting very erratically, especially the passenger, reaching underneath the seat, going to the back of the seat, and you might think that there might be a weapon involved because if they're reaching and doing that sort of thing. Also, the driver has, on more than one occasion, shook his fist up in the air, did the single finger salute, if you will, to officers as well. And so you can kind of tell that there's something going on there. And as you mentioned, if this was a hardtop, and a lot of times when you see these pursuits, there's tinted windows too.
Sure.
So you can't even imagine what's going on in there.
Especially at night, forget it.
So this is an advantage for the police officers, and CHP has to have a spotlight on the vehicle so they can see this pretty erratic behavior from inside.
And Desmond, is it your light that's shining the light on this car, or is it Glendale Police Department still?
That is the Glendale Police Department. They actually share a chopper with Burbank Police Department, so that is going to be their spotlight overhead right now. And yeah, obviously have to echo that. It is definitely an advantage. Been pretty much able to see every movement of the driver and the passenger. We're southbound on the 5. We will be crossing the 605 momentarily, and then into that big construction zone through Norwalk and Santa Fe Springs. A lot of times we get full closures of some point of the 5 down here because of the construction, usually this time of the evening. I don't think they have one of those projects in the works tonight. So the freeway not moving up, at free flow right now, but it is open, and it looks like if he wants to get towards Orange County on the 5, he will be able to do that.
Again, this is just wanted for no plates, and that all began at the 101 at Virgil and Silver Lake, reckless driving as well. And it's interesting, Desmond, at one point in time you said the fastest speed, this is a Porsche, 90 miles an hour. It looks like he's going past traffic. What's the speed now, you think?
It's been kind of right around 50 miles an hour. Most of the time here you see another unit coming in here, probably with a fresh tank of gas, a fresh officer there taking over as one of the lead cars there. And so, yeah, just about 50 miles an hour this whole time on the 5. Of course, it would be very difficult for him to drive much faster than that right now just because there are a lot of people out here right now on a Friday night. It looks to me like the passengers on the phone have been seeing this kind of the whole time, rocking back and forth. Like, it looks like they have their hand up.
Well, that's
the
driver
right now,
with
so
his
it looks
right
like
hand.
they might be on the phone.
It looks like the driver's kind of talking
right
to the passenger while the passenger's on the phone.
Yeah, it's not clear if he's talking to the passenger or talking to himself, but it does look like the passenger is now leaning over maybe on the phone.
Well, but he also is leaning into the door. That's another thing that concerns police is, once again, he's not sitting straight up. And then you see, you just saw the driver kind of motion over for the police to come up.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We're getting some new information right now from the CHP, and it looks like this is a male driver. That's been pretty apparent, but the female is the one who is in the passenger seat. I believe she's the one who's wearing the ball cap. It was kind of difficult to see whether that was a male or a female. Not that it matters, but that's the information that we're getting right now. Male driver and a female passenger who's wearing that ball cap and is rocking back and forth again. And
continuously moving and reaching up underneath the seat and slowing down just a little bit here. Again, this is going to be the Southbound 5 freeway. This is a situation of CHP pursuit of this convertible Porsche. And I don't know, it seems like it might be That's in the
slowing down
left-hand
a
lane,
bit.
slowing down just a little bit. I wonder if it's traffic.
Are we still before the 605 freeway? Are we?
We're right at the 605
Okay.
here. This is pretty typical even at this later hour, especially on a Friday. A lot of people may be waiting for the traffic to die down to go down to Orange County or San Diego. So where it goes down to 3 lanes right here is always a pretty pesky section of freeway. And but it looks like once he gets south of here, and once traffic merges from the 605 onto the southbound 5, he's going to have a little bit of relief. Traffic is going to improve a little bit, but it's still going to be fairly crowded, I would say, most of the way to Orange County until this opens up to about 5 lanes. And then we'll see if he continues on that. That's a section where we've all seen it. I mean, as soon as you get 5 lanes, you get into Orange County, it's like everyone just, slams on the gas pedal and starts really going with the high speed. So we'll see if he decides to do that.
Look at
But
this.
making a lot of gestures.
Yeah.
Yeah, making a lot of gestures. Definitely kind of, egging CHP on, it looks like.
Well, either that or putting up his arms in exasperation here. I mean, I don't know. I can't really tell. But obviously he knows that he's in a pursuit. It could just pull over at any point in time, and we could end this whole thing, and that's not happening either. So you wonder if it's a stolen vehicle. I mean, I don't know. There's stranger things have occurred, but you just wonder. Not that you want anybody in this car to, exceed the speed limit and endanger anybody, but this is a Porsche, and I haven't really seen this guy punch it, and you wonder, does he know how to drive a stick shift maybe, or this is a stolen vehicle that he doesn't know how to drive, or what the case may be. I don't know.
If you're just joining us, this is KCAL 9 News at 9. We are following breaking news in the city of Norwalk tonight on the 5 southbound freeway. We are near the 605 freeway. We have been following this pursuit for the majority of the 8 o'clock hour. It started just around 8:15 this evening. This is a pursuit of a car with no plates. That was the initial want. Now wanted for reckless driving, also for failure to yield. This driver of this car driving about 90 miles per hour. We know that there is a female passenger, and the male driver is the one who has been evading police all night long, and at least 2 people inside this car. As far as we know, Glendale Police Department has a chopper overhead. We know that there are multiple CHP units from different jurisdictions that have been on the ground following this pursuit. We've been on the 101 freeway in the Hollywood area. That's where we picked this up. Then we went eastbound on the 10 freeway near East LA and Monterey Park, exited near a bus ramp in El Monte, a bus terminal there. The driver got off and made some wide turns, made some wrong side of the road maneuvers, and went back onto the westbound 10 freeway, the southbound 710 freeway, and now still on the 5 southbound freeway in the Norwalk area. We also understand that this convertible obviously, it's going to make it convenient for officers to see what they're doing inside this car. And so far, the behavior that we've noticed with this driver and this passenger is the driver has been making some gestures with their hands, kind of like wringing their fists at maybe officers, the chopper that's overhead. We know that that's the Glendale Police Department helicopter. And the passenger has been either bopping her head to music, we don't know, but kind of making that rocking back and forth motion. She's also been on a cell phone, we know, from a glow that she's been holding kind of near her head. Desmond Shaw is overhead in Sky 9, and Juan Fernandez and Susie Sa over on KCAL 9 News at 9 here. Desmond, let's talk about where we are now. Bring us up to speed.
Yeah, Juan and Susie, we are well south of the 605 right now, leaving the Norwalk area. We're going to be crossing Rosecrans. You see, we are in the middle of that huge construction zone here that's been going on really for about the last almost 10 years here for some section of the 5 between the 605 and the 91. Getting ready to get into the Santa Fe Springs area. We're actually going to be coming up, I believe, on the Carmenita exit, going to be going underneath that brand new bridge. But you see the K-rail here in the construction area. And yeah, southbound on the 5, so it looks like he's kind of committed to head towards Orange County. He's been in the left lane the entire time, but lots of motioning, lots of, kind of shaking his fist in the air, some single-fingered salutes, as Jeff was saying earlier. We've been seeing the female in the car in the passenger seat now acting really shifty now at this moment, and has been on the phone a lot. I mean, maybe she's calling a lawyer, I don't know, or maybe calling some family members. But again, this all started with a lack of plates. Just wanted to pull him over. It could have been a simple fix-it ticket. I also heard them talking about reckless driving, though, as well. And then this car took off, and then it became a failure to yield. And the charges continue to mount for the driver of this Porsche Carrera as we are southbound on the 5, getting through Santa Fe Springs. We'll be in Buena Park shortly.
Yeah, this pursuit been going on since about 8:30, right, Susie?
That's
I was
right.
watching it from my desk in the newsroom there. A lot of different factors. We see pursuits pretty much on a weekly basis here on KCAL 9. This one a little different. We have a luxury car, a Porsche. It's convertible, and we actually see the two passengers inside the car. And I'm imagining that's also giving police in the chopper as well some sort of vantage point as well. They can see what's going on in there.
And that's so rare one.
It's very rare. I can't remember the last time I saw a pursuit of a convertible. And it does worry me. That passenger does worry me. We don't know if they are in need of medical assistance or if they're under the influence of some sort of drug because, as you mentioned, they were rocking back and forth, moving around, and we really don't know the mental state of either passenger here. But such a simple fix. This was a car wanted for not having a license plate. They tried to obviously pull them over, talk to them for a minute, probably find out why they didn't have a license plate. And here we go. They've been leading the CHP through several cities on several freeways on this pursuit right now. And again, as we were mentioning earlier, we're seeing a pursuit light traffic here on a Friday night, which is typically one of the busier nights of the weekend, Friday and Saturday night. People go out to enjoy it. Look at this. Now in Norwalk, the CHP behind it, I don't know if they're trying to stop the traffic ahead of the pursuit, but it sure looks like traffic is light tonight.
Yeah, Juan, it definitely sounds like they're trying to get ahead of this pursuit because we saw CHP units joining them before they even passed them by in different exits. And also a CHP commander right now is polling units to see if they have any spike strips. The Orange County units have actually chimed in to say that they're ready with spike strips further south, without giving up too much information. But we also know that they're obviously trying to do something about it. This has been going on for a long time. We wonder how far can this Porsche go? Desmond was talking about this Porsche being such a gas guzzler, and we know that the MPG on this thing is not very high. At 28 miles per hour, I think, 28 on a highway, I think it was what I was getting from the internet. And
who knows where the gas tank was when this all started,
We don't know.
right?
Did they start with a full tank of gas, or did they start with a half tank? But you know what, as you mentioned, they've been around all of Los Angeles tonight and down in the Commerce area and Downey and Norwalk. And at some point, they're going to run out of gas. But it looks like the CHP units, somebody might attempt some spike strips.
Just about.
We know that is a very difficult operation, especially on the freeway. They have to stop traffic, obviously, make sure the safety of the public is their number one priority, make sure the freeway is clear, and at some point lay those spike strips down, get them out of the box, then throw them, and then wait for that car to pass by. And it's a very difficult operation.
Yeah, and we've seen officers launch those spike strips in front of cars before. Those are really heavy.
Yes.
You can see the type of muscle power that it takes to throw those spike strips in front of a car. And many times, unless they're being blocked by a tree or another car, the driver gets enough of a heads up to swerve out of the way and miss the spike strips. But those tend to be very effective when they do the job. And of course, we haven't heard of the use of a pit maneuver tonight. Of course, they are on the freeway, not a lot of traffic, but I wonder if the fact that this is a convertible, if the car could possibly, tip over.
Yeah, Desmond was talking about that, actually.
Did he?
He
Okay.
was talking about how this car, the Porsche convertible, could have really wild movement should something like that happen. So I wonder if they're definitely factoring that, the fact that it is a car that could possibly make some dangerous maneuvers on the freeway. As you mentioned, Juan, there isn't that much traffic around. We haven't seen one car in the past, how many seconds there, but looks like there is some traffic ahead. Let's go back up to Desmond Shaw to tell us more. We're now in the Buena Park area, Desmond.
Yes, we are officially in Orange County and just crossing Beach Boulevard, so coming down to the 91 freeway here shortly, and we are on that newer section of roadway that was completed probably 7 or 8 years ago that expanded this section of the freeway by 2 lanes, and that's what they're working to do through that construction zone that we just saw between the 605 and Beach Boulevard on the LA County section of the southbound 5. Really, just a constantly congested piece of roadway. But now, if this guy wants to really go, pedal to the metal here southbound on the 5, he certainly has the opportunity. He's got a ton of lanes. I'll zoom out. He's got a ton of lanes, wide open traffic, almost nobody on the roadway. I was trying to listen or see anything that you were talking about, Susie, about them, potentially trying to stop traffic and get some spike strips. Haven't seen that yet. I'm still seeing people getting on and off the freeway, and let's see where this takes him. I think this is going to take him onto that huge flyover ramp onto the eastbound 91. The eastbound 91 is he'll now be leaving the Buena Park area headed towards Anaheim and Fullerton.
And so far, Desmond, it doesn't sound like this driver has had some sort of pattern of driving. They just keep going wherever they find the least amount of traffic or the least resistance, right?
Yeah, just kind of out here cruising along,
Yeah.
as if, he wasn't being followed by CHP at this point. We're eastbound on the 91 now, joining away from the 5, and no traffic in front of him.
And really
at this
bright
point
out
either.
there.
So, yeah, they have some really huge lights on this this portion of the roadway. Now you see a couple of units there right on the other side of the sound. Actually, here they come. They're getting on the freeway there from, I believe that was the Magnolia on-ramp. So joining in pursuit here, these are going to be the Orange County units who may now take over the lead on this. Of course, it's been LA County the entire time. This began in Hollywood. We went through Hollywood, downtown LA, Alhambra, Monterey Park, El Monte, and then double back westbound on the 10, picked up the southbound 710, southbound 5, and now here we are in Orange County getting through the Anaheim area.
And we know that the Glendale Police Department had their airship overhead that they share with the Burbank PD as well. But now the Orange County CHP is sending their airship to take over at some point. The CHP commander was also asking for a spotlight on this vehicle continuously. And Juan, as you were talking about just how convenient that makes it, because, I mean, obviously most chases that we follow, I mean, we don't have the luxury of seeing inside this vehicle, but tonight we do because this is a Porsche convertible. And we're not sure exactly why they're asking for that spotlight, but certainly they can see what's going on inside that car. We saw the female passenger rocking back and forth, making some gestures and reaching under the seat at times. And we don't know if that's because perhaps there's a gun involved, maybe, and that could be obviously a dangerous situation for drivers around this car, as well as the officers in pursuit of this car.
That's definitely something to be concerned about. And just thinking about the why they'd want the spotlight being, flooded into this car could be just to make driving a little bit more difficult. You know what I mean? To make you want to pull over.
To put them in the
It's
spotlight.
so bright,
John Wayne.
exactly. So,
John
and
Wayne.
it's hard at this point not to know that you are being chased by the California Highway Patrol. Quite a number of vehicles just behind this
have a ton of fuel.
Porsche right there. And again, 2 people inside, and the big concern for officers, and of course they always have to handle all these with the utmost of care, was that passenger moving back and forth, and I guess we're saying reaching under the seat or appearing to put something under the seat. And I remember hearing Desmond say earlier that at the beginning he didn't even see the passenger, so that passenger might have been ducked down or curved down in the driver's well. And look right now, Susie, you can see the driver kind of bobbing front and back. You can see her right there wearing that white baseball cap.
Yeah,
right?
you just kind of heard Desmond just say that we're good on gas, we're good on fuel, and that's certainly good news for us. But I can't imagine, Juan, that this car is the same situation. We know that they've been all around Los Angeles and now in the Orange County area. Going to be in Anaheim, then further south Santa Ana, if they continue on the 91 freeway. And, it makes you wonder at what point they are going to run out of gas. It's bound to happen soon. That's my guess, but I can't imagine this car has the best MPG, so we'll see what happens there. But we know that they are wanted for reckless driving. They were, let's talk about the behavior of this driver. At first, they were going, pretty fast on the freeway, driving 90 miles per hour, sometimes 80 miles per hour, sometimes at the speed limit. But when they exited in the El Monte area at one point, they got off the freeway there, off a bus ramp, and they were driving pretty recklessly. They went around, made the wide right turns. They went on the wrong side of the freeway and then got back on the freeway and then started speeding again. But right now in this Anaheim area, this is pretty typical for this time of night. We know that as soon as you pass by the 5 freeway there and then you open up 91 there, it's going to be a wide freeway in the city of, in Anaheim, in Orange County.
And I know a lot of drivers would really love to have this type of drive time anytime in the city of Los Angeles and now into Orange County, as you mentioned, in just a short amount of time. The traffic tonight has been very light, and of course, we've seen this in other cases like that where there is a pursuit on a Friday night. You wonder, where is that normal Friday night traffic that we see on any typical day here in Southern California? But as you see here tonight, we don't know exactly what's happening ahead of this pursuit, but there could be an opportunity where officers are shutting down some on-ramps just to minimize the amount of traffic, because they also want to minimize the amount of people out on the road in case this does turn into something different, right?
Sure.
In case there's some sort of incident.
Sure, and that incident could be the fact that they might be using spike strips. We did get some word earlier that that could possibly be the case, but obviously we know that CHP officers aren't just going to let this happen. They're going to take a lot of factors into consideration first to make sure safety is number one. Who knows? They might do this on the freeway. Maybe this person will exit at some point. I mean, obviously they can't predict them exiting on any of their
Looks like something's going on here,
might
right?
look like they're. Is this an exit here, Desmond, or is this just the freeway continuing on?
Yeah, stand by here. I think it might be going to the 57 freeway. Yeah, okay, northbound. Northbound, fortunately northbound, because it was southbound. We were going to bump into the Disneyland flight restrictions. So fortunately headed northbound now, away from Anaheim, now into the Fullerton area and back towards LA County on this other big flyover ramp. It's going to go right underneath the bottom of us here. So stand by. Let me zoom out here and adjust, and you can see how many units are in pursuit. It looks like about 4 or 5 units in pursuit right now, and we still have the same chopper that's been over here the whole time. This has been the Glendale Burbank police chopper that has been overhead with their spotlight constantly.
All right, Desmond, you keep your eye on the pursuit. We're going to take a quick break here on KCAL 9 News at 9 and come back with breaking news: this pursuit of a Porsche convertible in the city of Anaheim.
Tired of that expensive utility bill? Go solar with Peterson Dean with 0 down and only $59 per month. That's right, only $59 per month.
Upgrade your home, make your bills lower. Call 833-PD Solar.
You're eating healthy.
I'm eating for 2. Yeah. Yeah.
Ultimate Women's Health.
Grow healthy.
Are you gonna run or are you gonna walk?
A little bit of both, I figure. The doctor says it's good for my heart.
Do what he says, Grandma. I want you to live forever.
Ultimate Primary Care.
Grow healthy.
It's Spectrum's best deal days. Get Spectrum TV, internet, and voice from $29.99 a month each. Call 844-559-2999. Spectrum TV with free HD, thousands of free on-demand titles, and access to the free Spectrum TV app to watch live TV at home or on the go. Spectrum TV from $29.99 a month. Spectrum has the fastest internet starting speeds, 100 megabits per second, and enough bandwidth to keep everyone's devices connected with no data caps, plus a free modem. But wait, there's more when you call 844-559-2999. Spectrum Voice with unlimited nationwide calling in.
If we're going to be, he's going north, so we're going to go further north ahead of him. We're going to Pomona, basically Pomona. What do you think, DUI on this guy? Is the Facebook still going? Yeah. Oh, it is still going? Hey, if everyone's listening on the Facebook feed, thank you for your patience. Was just on live, obviously, on KCAL 9 for the whole time. We're actually breaking off this to go get fuel. The pursuit of this Porsche. Hold on, Pilot Brennan. What's up? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's kind of in a weird spot right now because we suspect this is going to be one of those. Yeah, okay. I guess I'm clear from TV. We were thinking this is might continue on for a long time, just based on how this is going so far. So we're actually going to try to get a kind of a, well, not a head start, but kind of an inside track by going and filling up on fuel right now and hoping that. No, it's all right. Do you need that light? Oh, no, okay. Hoping that nothing is going to change on this, and if we're lucky, if we can get fuel fast by the time we get back up, maybe he'll be, within, well, certainly within camera shot of us. This is northbound on the 57. Looks like he's, as we're now getting way ahead of him. I think he's crossing Imperial Highway, is that? Yeah, Imperial Highway right there is where he's crossing, so. Going at about 70 miles an hour, this Porsche Sorry, I know I've been saying Porsche at times, and I'm sure some of you are totally screaming at me, and I apologize. Bad habit. I've already had one of my friends reprimand me for that. Lambaste me for that. Cody, thank you. But yeah, northbound on the 57 now, getting back up into LA County. This guy's covered a lot of ground. He's probably going to wish that he was getting gas too. Started in Hollywood, 101 in Highland, where we first heard this, and went through Alhambra, El Monte, did some kind of crazy maneuvers in El Monte, then doubled back west on the 10. South 710 to the South 5, he took that all the way to the 91, just really going for a joyride, Friday night joyride with his convertible Porsche, and now headed back up into LA County. So, you know, who knows what this guy's MO is. I heard actually Remy was telling me that the suspect was doing their own Facebook Live. So, wait, is that what you were saying, Remy? The pursuit suspect is on Facebook Live. Wow. So we're going to lose visual of the guy now. But let's see, maybe we'll get him coming through the Brea Pass right here. But that would certainly be a new one if the suspect is doing their own Facebook Live. Going to get the skid in the shot here, unfortunately. So let me just turn it around. Be a view of the lovely San Gabriel Valley on a Friday night. The 60 freeway. Coming up there's the 6057. And hopefully I'm still live. At 60 at Temple. And our destination is right up here, actually right by the LA County Fair. Which is, oh wait, this is still the 60, so a little farther up. LA County Fair is up there where all the lights are. We're going up here to Brackett Airport to go duck in real quick for fuel. And how fast are we going, Brennan? No, Brennan's a little busy flying the ship right now. But we're going 120. We are hauling as fast as we can to try to go get fuel and hope that this guy continues on the North 57, and hopefully we don't miss anything too exciting. We didn't want to get into one of those situations where the pursuit continues, and then we run out of fuel and we have to abandon it. Of course, we know our boy Stu, that's happened to him quite a few times, and it's incredibly frustrating. So want to try to prepare for that. Of course, it's a gamble. You know, we may end up missing something really exciting, but we hope that that's not the case. Hopefully we just miss the guy continuing his Friday night crime time cruise. Crime time cruise on a Friday night, yes. And here is the LA County Fair. Give you a nice little view of that. Supposedly one of the largest fairs. Doesn't really look like it from the sky. It's all the same anyway. I think the only difference is there's 2 more Ferris wheels there. Am I still live? Cody, text me if I'm still live. I hope I am. I love doing the Facebook Lives with y'all. We love you spending some of your Friday night with us. We really appreciate that. This has certainly not been one of the more exciting chases as far as they go, especially considering the car involved. Little black Porsche, very capable. Good friend Cody tells me about 300 horsepower. And well, thank you, Cody's mom, for saying that. Cody's dad is actually a Porsche dealer, so he was especially disappointed in me. Here we come into Brackett Airport, and I believe we're going to be dropping the Facebook Live feed soon. So let me leave you with a shot of the LA County Fair. LA County Fair for y'all. We're going to drop the feed, and we will be back, hopefully, lickety-split, get back over that pursuit. So stay tuned. All right, TOC, we're coming in for landing. We'll knock it down. Be right back.